How's it going, YouTube? Got 4-StarTCG back again, and today I'm giving you a history lesson. We're going all the way back to, oh goodness, when was this set released? 2005, and the EX series with Pokemon TCG EX Emerald. Now, EX Emerald is one of the most interesting and strangest sets that Pokemon has released to this day. So I wanted to give you guys a history lesson of this set, talk about it, give you guys some insight into it, and hopefully you guys will come away appreciating the set a little bit more as I've learned all this information. So EX Emerald, it was released in 2005 in English, just like any other main series release set. It was based off of the Emerald game, as we saw many game-based sets, EX Ruby Sapphire, EX Fire Red Leaf Green, EX Emerald, that kind of stuff was based off of the Emerald game, featured Rayquaza on the booster box, and it had, at first glance it looked like a pretty normal set. It had EX cards, it had Holos, it had, just about the same amount of cards as your normal set. See how many cards it had here. Yep, 106 cards. I check on my Regirock here. And, that was a fairly substantial number of cards for the EX era. Now, of course, we're used to 200 plus card sets and Cosmic Eclipse and stuff, but back then, 106 cards, that was a very solid number. But there's a lot more to EX Emerald than meets the eye. And it starts when you dig a little deeper under the cards and you look at where they came from in Japan. So, for the vast majority of Pokemon sets, as it's been since the beginning, there is a continuity between a Japanese set and an English set. Now, what we're seeing more in the Sword and Shield era is that we're having multiple Japanese sets get sort of lumped into one English set. But in the past, this really wasn't the case. We would have, XY, it was basically, all you'd have was maybe two sister sets lumped together into one. Black and White, again, you had a couple sister sets. You had Freeze Bolt and Cold Flare turn into Boundaries Cross. In XY, it was Gaia Volcano Tidal Storm into Emerald Break. That was all sort of the set lumping you'd have. And while that's become more common in the Sword and Shield era, really wasn't done back in, Diamond and Pearl. There were a couple of those sister sets. EX, I don't think there were any of those like sister sets or two sets released at the same time that were then put together into English. But EX Emerald did not have a sort of comparable Japanese set. So when we think of something like, let's draw up a current example, Rebel Clash. So this was, I think, Treason Crash in Japanese, and that came, basically 100% of that set, plus a couple of cards became our English Rebel Clash set from a couple of cards from Japanese Treason Clash and VMAX Rising. Boom, put them together, English set. In Japanese, EX Emerald did not have any kind of Japanese set release that came into that set that mirrored EX Emerald. So how did we get all of the cards? How did EX Emerald become a set if there was no comparable set in Japanese? Well, what they did was they lumped together a ton of stuff. And Pokemon's desire to sort of make a set out of nothing in English is what gives this set a lot of its really interesting properties, a lot of its really interesting cards. So today you're just going to go over a little bit of that. You talk about where some of these cards come from, some of the intricacies and sort of wacky things that happen when you try to build a set out of nothing. Or build a set out of no comparable Japanese set and you're stuck pulling from promos and everything and all the craziness that happens there. So the first thing, the most important thing for any set is, you've got your EXs, your ultra rare. So where did all the EX Emerald ultra rares come from? Well, a ton of different places. The first thing that was drawn from was these, and these were released in Japan. These are called Quick Construction Starter Packs. And each of these Quick Construction Starter Packs, I have the Medicham fighting one here. There were 6 of them. So here's the Medicham, but they also had Cacturn, Camerupt, Milotic, Raichu, and Dusclops. All of them, you got, I think this is probably like a half deck or something here. You're getting probably 30 cards in here and 1 Medicham EX. And that was the same for all of the Quick Construction Starter Packs. There's these little small starter decks. They're very similar to like the GX starter decks or the V starter decks that we see today. But this is sort of, to my knowledge, is the first time that all of these were done, in a run. So a lot of the big EX cards in the English set, Milotic EX, that's a huge card. Raichu EX, very difficult to grade. Camerupt EX as well, come from these Japanese decks. So you could buy these. You didn't even have to pull these EX cards. You could just buy them. But there's still a couple more EX cards in EX Emerald. And, normally what Pokemon would do is, what I've seen is if they pull from one thing, that's it. They pull from the Quick Construction Starter Packs, they throw that in a set, perfect. But no, there's still more stuff to pull from for EX Emerald. So the next thing Pokemon did was they pulled from some promos. So we got the Regice, Regirock, and Registeel EX from the Play promotional set. Those were, I think, the first season subscription cards. I have a couple of them in my collection, but you had these cards as well. But it was kind of hilarious because they didn't pull any other Play promotional cards. I think most of them went into, they were tin promos. Most of the Play promos ended up being tin promos. The Legendary Birds, I think those were the second season subscription. Don't quote me on that. But then the limited edition starter kit promos, the Kyogre, Groudon, and Rayquaza EX, those became tin promos, but nope. These Regis went into EX Emerald. But Pokemon wasn't done. Still got to grab some more EXs. All that wasn't enough. So then Pokemon decided to do something pretty strange and pull from an already existing set. So they took Altaria EX from Mirage Forest in Japanese. Mirage Forest did have a comparable English set. Mirage Forest turned into EX Legend Maker. So they pulled Altaria EX out of that set. Altaria EX was not released in our EX Legend Maker, and they put it into EX Emerald. So that, again, it's just like such an amalgamation of things. It's not just pulling promos, it's not just pulling deck cards, it's pulling from sets as well. But again, Pokemon's not done. Gotta still do more, still pull from some strange places. So next, Pokemon went back to the well and went to the Emerald Gift Box. And this is probably the strangest one of all. So the Emerald Gift Box was a set of... I think you had 2 decks of... I think they were half decks as well, so maybe you got 60 cards. You got a Deoxys EX Speed Form, you got a Rayquaza EX, a Kyogre, Groudon Holo, and a bunch of other cards. Of course, the most famous gift box in the Japanese EX era was the Lucario gift box, which had the Pikachu and Mewtwo Gold Stars in it. That's pretty cool. But this was a lesser-known gift box, and it came with, I have the copy in English here, a copy of Speed Form Deoxys EX. And Pokemon took this copy of Speed Form Deoxys EX into EX Emerald. There we go. So this, of course, the English copy, my PSA 8 copy, was in EX Emerald, but there was a Rayquaza EX in that set. There's no Rayquaza EX in EX Emerald. So Pokemon took 1 out of 2, and I have the Rayquaza EX here. Pokemon took 1 out of 2 cards from the Emerald gift box, one EX, and put it into EX Emerald. The other, they said, nope, we're not going to do that. And this card, this Rayquaza EX from the Emerald gift box, was never released in English. It remains a Japanese exclusive artwork to this day. And I just think that's crazy and hilarious. You dig into a Japanese gift box, you pull out 3 out of the 4 holo cards. I got some more that they put into EX Emerald when we get into the holos. But you don't pull out the other. And that one never makes it to English. So I don't know what they were thinking. Maybe they thought they had too many Rayquaza EXs. But, I think they only released 3 over the course of the EX era. So I don't know what was going through Pokemon's head when they decided that, we're going to pull half of the EXs from this Emerald gift box. So that's how the EX run was made, by pulling from all of these different very weird kinds of places in the Japanese TCG and the Japanese card releases at the time. But of course, you can't make an EX set just with EXs. You need some holos, you need some other stuff, some really cool stuff. So Pokemon sort of went back to the well and dug around some more to try to see what they could find. And what they came up with was some more from that Emerald gift box, some promos, some stuff from the PokePark set. It's just crazy. So, for the holos, of course, I mentioned the Emerald gift box, the Kyogre and Groudon holos. These were from the Emerald gift box, and these made it into EX Emerald as holographic cards. But again, that's only 2. Pokemon also pulled from the Meiji promo set, grabbing a few cards. I have a Sceptile here. This Sceptile was a non-holo card in Japanese, sealed in this Meiji promo set. Beautiful Mitsuhiro Rita art, but it turned into a holo in English, which I think is pretty interesting. And then there was the PokePark set. So the PokePark set is a really interesting set. I actually just purchased it, so I thought it would be perfect to do this video. So this PokePark set came in this, the blue PokePark sheet, and it comes in this beautiful card file. It's got a fantastic set of artwork on the back here. Really just a ton of really cool stuff. It actually shows off all of the card artworks in the PokePark set all together in this one picture. But so we open it up, and there is the PokePark blue set, and this also was served as a perfect well for cards to draw from, as I'm sure you can recognize some of these cards from other sets. Of course, the Ho-Oh and Lugia, I feel like I'm a teacher reading a book to a class here. So the Ho-Oh and Lugia, of course, those go into EX Unseen Forces. The Suicune, that goes into the Pop series. But a lot of these cards went into EX Emerald. The Rayquaza Holo, that was in EX Emerald. That's a Holo in EX Emerald. This Groudon went into EX Emerald as well. Kyogre into EX Emerald. I don't believe these, the Kyogre and Groudon, were holos. Those ended up being regular rares. But the Rayquaza, it's a holo in PokePark Blue. It remained a holo in EX Emerald. And that sort of, and there's, a bunch of other places they pulled holos from. Most of it from sort of general Japanese promos that were out at the time. It's EX Emerald as a whole mainly comes from these promotional sets and promotional cards that were released at the time. That's where like the majority of the common and uncommon cards come from. Is like stuff like the gift boxes, stuff like the Meiji set. All the Meiji promos, they aren't just like sort of cool Sceptiles. There's also just some random cards lying around in there that were lumped together for the common and uncommon set. But EX Emerald, it's just such an interesting set. It's got so much going on for it, and I think it's one of the most interesting and strangest sets that Pokemon has ever produced, just because of the variety of places that they grabbed these cards from in Japanese and threw them together and made a set, really without any rhyme or reason. Some of it makes sense, like pulling all the EXs from the Quick Construction starter packs, but then a lot of it doesn't, like you're pulling half of the EXs from the from the Emerald gift box, you're pulling a couple Holos, but you're only pulling like a couple of the cards from the Pokepark Blue set. The rest go out into other sets. But it's really quite the set. It's one of my favorites in the EX era, and one of the most difficult to complete in English. So I hope you guys enjoyed the little history lesson on EX Emerald. Thank you very much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, and stick around for more videos.